This screencast will cover the state-of-the-art analysis task, or Sota. Sota is an activity in the high-tech product development cycle that needs to be executed before an innovation-driven company starts the development of a new product or service. For the purpose of this project, we will define state-of-the-art as the level of development achieved in a certain market, application domain, science, or technology. Today, the complexity of technology has reached a level which makes it close to impossible to design and develop innovative high-tech products by yourself from scratch. However, reality shows that many people with a new idea do exactly this. They have already written 100,000 lines of code before even looking at the world around them. Needless to say, this is a recipe for disaster. To avoid future frustration and disillusionments, you first need to investigate who else is working on similar products, technologies, and solutions. You also want to know if there are technologies which you can reuse and that can save you much time and money. Reusable components can give you an advantage with respect to competitors, but you need to be aware of the conditions related to using somebody else's work. These issues will be addressed during the Sota analysis phase. The statement from Wilson Mitzer, the Hollywood screenplay writer, is maybe a little over the top, but the main message is the following. Do sufficient research to make sure you are never considered a thief, while at the same time acquiring good insight into resources that you can reuse to implement your idea without getting into lawsuits. Let's start this session by looking at the online sales of diapers. For this, I would like you to meet Fabrice Grinda, a hyperactive Frenchman living in New York City. Fabrice has a very special and creative way to deal with state-of-the-art research and analysis. When he wants to start a new internet business, he looks for the success stories in the US and copies them in countries with large markets like Brazil, Russia, and Turkey. He has made copycats of anything you can think of. Some of the most valuable startups which he has sold for over $10 million per company are listed on this slide. The Russian auction site Wikimart is a copy of eBay, and Viajanet is the Brazilian version of Expedia, the travel site. I can imagine that these examples raise many questions, such as, is this legal? If the answer is yes, then the next question will probably be, why is not everybody doing this yet? To understand this, we'll have a closer look at Windown.de, the German copycat of Diapers.com. Diapers.com is the largest online baby care specialty site in the United States. The company launched in 2005 and was acquired by Amazon in November 2010 for $540 million. Now look at the dates on the press releases about Windown.de on the site TechCrunch. Windown.de launched in September 2010, just before the acquisition of Diapers.com by Amazon. This means that the copycat was launched at a moment that the business concept was proven and that there was evidence that some parties were willing to pay a lot of money for such a service. Windown.de recently received a new investment of 50 million euros from top-grade investors. To some extent, this goes to prove that it's not illegal to copy a webshop that sells diapers. Investors do in-depth legal investigations, called due diligence, prior to an investment, and will never invest money in illegal operations. It also shows that the founders of Windown.de are smart people. Instead of them reinventing the wheel from scratch, they looked at success stories in their sector and copied as much as possible. The core technology, the online payment system, and the business concept without crossing any legal lines. Now don't get too optimistic about this. Although it's a smart move, it's not that simple to execute. First of all, you have to make sure that you are not getting yourself into any legal problems. This is one of the goals of the state-of-the-art analysis, is there to determine your freedom to operate. Second, you cannot blindly copy success concepts. You will need to adapt them to the local culture and habits, and you will need to have the execution capacity in terms of know-how, infrastructure, people, and money. This brings us back to the why of the Sota analysis phase. A well-executed Sota analysis can do much more than preparing you to make the next clone of a popular internet service. Competitive companies continuously build new products that are based on ideas which originate from many sources. When engineers engage in creativity workshops or brainstorm sessions to generate ideas for new products, they usually become very excited by the technical challenges that they will need to overcome in order to create the best possible solution. While this type of motivation is highly appreciated and necessary in order to build winning products, we do not want to rush into technical development before we have sufficient intelligence about the playing, or should we say battlefield, that we will enter. Before we start to invest time, money, and other resources, you first need to get to know the field. The state-of-the-art research and analysis provides you the information and the much-needed insights in the level of development achieved in a certain market, application domain, science, or technology. Some of this information can be found on the internet, but often you need to consult dedicated sources of information, such as patent databases, scientific papers, and market research reports. During this activity, your team will explore the most relevant Sota areas that can provide you with this key information. With today's tools and technology, this can be done in a very efficient way. You will not need to spend weeks of desktop research. If you distribute the tasks between your team and you coordinate the activities, all can already be achieved within a couple of hours of work per person.